Good morning, everyone. What a good day to be together. What a beautiful day outside. I love the snow and the first snow of the year and all it represents, all it reminds us of. I said to, I think to Hillary this morning that this would have been a perfect snow for Christmas morning. Just enough and not too much. But it's really, really good to be in your house, in God's house this morning with you. And so we welcome you here. There is just a couple things, really important things that I want to highlight here. This Saturday, and Mel, if you could actually help me, if you could go on, right there, pause that right there. If you could pause that for me, or just go back that touch and pause that on the brunch. I think it's at 1:10 on the video. I'm pretty sure it's at 1:10. This Saturday is the women's Christmas brunch. And so I think the time will be up there. I think it's at 10 a.m. Yeah, it's at 10 a.m. And I know a lot of you women have already signed up for that. That's awesome. But if you haven't, that QR code right there, I just want to pause on that and sit on that for a moment. So you can scan that QR code so that Kim and the other women can know that you're coming to the brunch. And I think this is usually for maybe like age 16 and older, similar to the women's retreat. But really one of the most blessed times for the women's ministry of the year to gather together. And I think there's going to be an ornament swap, and there's going to be breakfast and probably sharing from the Word. So definitely just go ahead and snap that and scan that QR code and sign up for that. You can also do that online or on the app or through the text messages, but that QR code will bring you right there. It was only 3 years ago, I think, we were at Uxbridge Church of the Nazarene for District Assembly, and here I am, I'm 46 now, so I was about 43 then, and they had a QR code up on the screen, and I had no idea how to do a QR code, and they were like, just put your camera on it, get your phone up, put your camera on it, and it'll pretty much walk you right through it. And I was shocked how simple and how easy it was. So if you don't know how to do a QR code, just open your camera and just point it at that little thing, and boom, it's right there, and you can fill out that registration form for the women's brunch this Saturday. Next week, and Mel, the other one I'm going to want you to highlight in just a minute, I think is at the 40-second mark on the video. It's Pray First. But before I get into that, next week is next Sunday, the 21st, is the Sunday before Christmas. And so we're going to have a special Christmas presentation during our 9:30 a.m. service. But even more so, at 6 o'clock at night next Sunday is our children's Christmas play. And this is always just a beautiful time to gather together, support the kids, our children's ministry, Jessica, Sierra, Robin, and others. I probably should have not even mentioned one name because I'll forget more as we go along, but they've been working diligently week after week with the kids for this play. Jess does a lot during the week, and Sierra, and it's just going to be an awesome time. So next Sunday night at 6 o'clock, which is in our normal prayer service hour, we're going to have the children's Christmas play instead. And so they're down there preparing for that now. They'll be preparing for that again next week, but come out next Sunday night, whether you have children or not, and we'll have the play, and then after the play, we'll either up here or downstairs, to be determined yet, but we'll have just a time of fellowship, Christmas cookies, maybe some hot chocolate like we do every year. And this year, that time of fellowship's got a little different purpose than normal. Normally, we, buy cookies and things of that nature for everyone, which is a great way to go. We love to do stuff like that for the church body and the church family. But this year, we're doing something just a little bit different. Youth group the last couple Friday nights have been baking up a storm in the kitchen. It's so cool. We go down there, and there's been about 10 or 15 girls, and they're singing Christmas songs, and they're got huge smiles on their faces, and they're baking cookies like crazy, hundreds of cookies. And the reason they're doing that is because the youth group is going to provide the fellowship after the children's program next Friday night. And they're doing it because they're awesome youth, but they're also doing it because many of you know the youth are going to snow camp in a few months, and snow camp has significant cost to it. And so what we want to do next Sunday, and really throughout this week, you can just go right online or wherever you give, and there's a drop down currently for youth group or something like that. It says, I think it either says youth group or snow camp, and you can make a donation to the youth group, and we want to take special offerings now through next Sunday night at the Children's Christmas program, and 100% of those offerings are going to go to offsetting the cost of our teens to go to snow camp in February. I think there's about 30-something teens going, and so it's a significant expense there, and we like to help everybody in the church to be able to buy that expense down. So consider that. And speaking of youth group, the last 2 Friday nights at youth group, we've had baking classes, we've had board games, we've had games inside, we've had Mario Kart tournaments, we have teens that are getting ready for snow camp, planning and building the sled that's going to happen at snow camp. They've been breaking into these groups, and so many teens and youth have been coming out, and they have just been having a blast. Several of them remarked. One of them, I drove a van this Friday night, and on the way home, a young man, about 15, 16 years old, he said, I don't know why, but the last 2 weeks at youth group, both times when after the message, we had 2 great messages by Scott Francis and then by Wes, actually, my son, this last Friday night, and the altars were just full. And he said, I don't know why, but the last 2 weeks, both times when I went to the altar, he goes, I wasn't shaking, but it felt like my bones and my insides were shaking as I was kneeling down at the altar. And he's like, I know it was God. I know it was the power of God on the inside of my life. Another young girl remarked, me and Izzy were in the van, and this other young girl remarked, she said, I just love the worship. Praise God for those that are leading worship at youth group. Yeah. She said, I just love the worship, and I just cried during the worship. And then somehow at the end of the service, during the prayer time, she said, as I was kneeling at the altar, I'm just crying. She goes, those are my 2 favorite parts. And then one other person, I had actually asked someone something, oh, how'd you like youth group? Oh, great. What was your favorite part? It was the bag of chips. And so, there's all sorts of reasons to come to youth group, because chips are good too. But God is moving powerfully and beautifully in the lives of our youth and in the lives of our young people. I think probably about 35 young people were literally crying out to God at this altar on Friday night and the last Friday night as well. So hopefully, and if you are a young person and you're not coming to youth group, come. We're getting ready for snow camp, and we're doing all sorts of awesome things together, and it's just been a special time. That wasn't even on my list, but the Lord just reminded me of that. So last but not least, you have it up there, and I'll pray first. I think it's at about the 40-second mark. Pray first. Our 4th annual Pray First, it's kind of amazing, a little background. Our church was in the midst of 40 days of prayer in 2020, and we were in 40 days of prayer. It wasn't Pray First, was it leading up to Easter? It was leading up to Easter. For Lent, we were in 40 days of prayer, so our church decided we're going to have a prayer meeting every single day for 40 days. And it was going strong. It was going good. We had several people coming out every day. I think it was at 6 o'clock every night. And then COVID hit. And it was like, boom, we might have been 20 days into it, maybe 15 days into it, and COVID hit. And the next thing you know, our 40-day prayer emphasis kind of got rocked. And we were like, what are we going to do, and how are we going to do this? And we still, we didn't know what we were going to do. We still don't know how to do this. But it was really, really amazing, because sometimes it's in the greatest times of uncertainty, or the greatest times of difficulty, or the greatest times of struggle, or the lowest times in the world and in our lives, that God does something far beyond what we can imagine. And so I remember, I think it was probably mostly Jess and I, Chris Van Scoy a little, we're just because we're not going to get together for a little while, we got to figure out a way to prayer. to pray. So we got on Zoom and we figured out Zoom and didn't know anything about that either. And we were able to continue praying for that 40 days of prayer. But when 40 days of prayer ended, someone was like, you know what, why not? Let's just keep praying until we can meet together again. And until we can remain to be together again. And so we continued to pray. And I think it was like Pentecost Sunday or so. We prayed through Pentecost Sunday, and then after that, and ultimately the 40 days of prayer that seemed to get broken up after 15 days became 100 days of straight prayer at our church, which I think was something that had never happened before to that point. Probably had 40-day prayer emphasis before, but we prayed together for 100 days as a church. And then that following 2020, not 2021.